Life often throws challenges our way, and one of the greatest challenges can come from toxic people who try to control our emotions. They could be family members, friends, co-workers, or even someone you just met. Their negative energy has the potential to drain our happiness and peace. We all have the power to decide how we respond to negativity, but that requires awareness and practice. In this video, we will explore 7 lessons inspired by Buddhist teachings that can help you strengthen your emotional boundaries and stop letting toxic people control how you feel. Lesson 1. Reframe negative thoughts. Reframing your negative thoughts is the first thing you need to do to stop letting bad people control how you feel. Negative thoughts are like seeds that can grow into bad feelings if they are cared for. People who are toxic often make you think these things when they criticize, trick, or hurt you. When you let their bad thoughts into your head, they have control over how you feel. We learn in Buddhism that the mind is like a plant. You need to be careful about what you put there. Bad people try to grow anger, sadness, and frustration in your yard. You decide if those seeds grow or not, though. You can take charge of the garden and only let peaceful, positive thoughts grow by changing the way you think about the bad ones. You can reframe the thought when someone says something upsetting to you instead of letting it make you feel sad or like you're not worth anything. Instead of telling yourself, "I'm not good enough," tell yourself, "Their words show their own negativity, not my worth." This will keep the negative thoughts from taking root in your mind. To reframing bad thoughts, you need to change the way you look at things. Toxic people will often try to bring you down by making you feel bad for them. By changing the way you think about something, you can rise above their negativity and see things from a strong point of view. After you get good at this, you'll be the only one who can control how you feel. Keep in mind that changing the way you think doesn't mean denying or ignoring your feelings. Instead, it means being aware of how the toxic person affects your thinking and choosing how you want to respond. By doing this, you can learn to deal with bad things with kindness and understanding instead of letting them take over your life. Reframing negative thoughts is a technique that makes you feel better. It gives you back power over your thoughts and feelings, so toxic people can't take over your emotions anymore. Changes in how you deal with tough situations will happen as you get better at rethinking, and you will feel lighter and more peaceful. Lesson 2. Strengthen your emotional resilience. Being emotionally resilient means being able to get over hard times without letting them take over your life. People who are toxic often try to make you feel bad so that you'll respond in a way that helps them. But if you have strong emotional resilience, you can deal with their criticism without letting it hurt you too much. Buddhist lessons stress how important it is to get stronger on the inside so that you can handle life's problems. To deal with toxic people, we need to build up our mental strength, just like a tree needs strong roots to stand up to strong winds. Being emotionally strong doesn't mean ignoring your feelings or acting like they don't matter. Instead, it means letting your feelings happen, but not letting them control what you do or last longer than they need to. Being aware of yourself is the first step to building up your mental strength. You should pay attention to your feelings as they come up, especially when you're around bad people. If you start to feel angry, sad, or frustrated, don't judge yourself. Just feel them. Just by naming them, you stop them from building up inside you and changing into something worse. Self-compassion is another important skill for being emotionally strong. Some toxic people may try to make you question yourself or think you're not good enough. But when you show self-compassion, you tell yourself that you deserve care and kindness, even when things are bad. If you are kind to yourself, you are less likely to take on the bad behavior of others. Meditation is also a great way to make yourself emotionally strong. Buddhist meditation teaches you to be aware of your feelings and thoughts without getting attached to them. You can build a calm, stable mind that doesn't easily shift in the face of negativity by meditating. By making your emotional strength stronger, you build a wall around your feelings that makes it harder for bad people to get through. Getting to know yourself better, being kind to yourself, and meditating regularly can all help you improve your inner world. You will no longer let toxic people bring you down, and it will be easier for you to stay calm and centered no matter what comes your way. Lesson 3. Identify manipulation tactics. People who are toxic often control others by manipulating them. They might make you feel bad, guilty, or like you're to blame for their problems. To break free from their power, you need to be aware of these strategies. Once you know someone is trying to trick you, you can stop reacting emotionally and start acting sensibly. Buddhist lessons tell us to be honest with ourselves about how things really are. People who are toxic may fool you into thinking they care about you or love you, when really they just want to control you. You can learn to watch how they act without getting stuck in their web of manipulation by practicing mindfulness. Guilt tripping is a common way to get what you want. Bad people may try to make you feel bad for setting limits or not living up to their standards. They might say things like, "You would do this for me if you really cared about me." They want you to feel bad so that you will do what they want. You can take a step back and tell yourself that you are not responsible for their happiness once you know this trick. Playing the victim is another way to trick someone. To get sympathy and control, toxic people often act like they can't do anything or are hurting. They might lie about their problems or act like they can't handle things without your help. It's normal to want to help others, but toxic people take advantage of your desire to do so by making you feel like you have to take care of them. Another way to control someone is to flatter them. Bad people may give you lots of comments and praise to get you to like them. Although it's nice to get praises, be wary if they come from someone who is known for being manipulative. A lot of the time, they want to get you to let down your guard, so they can later use that against you. By figuring out how the harmful person is trying to control you, you take away their power. You can protect your health and safety when you understand why they're acting the way they are. Take a step back and ask yourself, what is their real goal here? Before you respond emotionally, being aware of this helps you keep your feelings and behaviors in check. You can keep them from affecting you if you practice awareness and learn to see through their actions. When you see manipulation for what it is, you give yourself the power to react clearly and strongly instead of giving in to their tricks. Lesson 4. Develop a pause response. Developing a pause reaction is one of the best ways to stop letting toxic people control how you feel. When someone toxic says or does something hurtful or manipulative, you might want to protect yourself, argue, or get angry right away. But moving without thinking gives them more power over your feelings. Buddhist lessons stress how important it is to be mindful in everything you do. By practicing awareness, you can make it a habit to think about what to say before you say it to toxic people. This break gives you time to gather your thoughts, think about what's going on, and decide how to react in a way that fits with your values and your inner peace. It's helpful to know the pause reaction because it lets you take back control of the situation. Toxic people love making other people feel bad. They want you to be upset because it makes them feel good to know that they have changed how you feel. But if you stop, they lose their power. They see that you are in charge of yourself and not them. Getting better at the pause reaction starts with being aware of it. If you think someone is trying to make you angry, take a deep breath and stop. During that pause, remind yourself that you don't have to move right away. You can think about how you want to react and take your time. Just pausing could keep many fights, misunderstandings, and mental pain from happening. You can also check in with yourself during the break. Ask yourself, how do I feel right now? What is making me feel this way? What would be the best thing to do in this case? Be taking a moment to think. you gain clarity and are better prepared to handle the scenario wisely. Sometimes the best thing to do with a bad person is nothing. Taking a moment to think about it lets you know when it's not worth an argument. Toxic people like drama, and if you don't get involved, you're not giving them the pleasure of directing your feelings. You can regain control of your responses and protect your inner peace by pausing before you move. As you do this pause more often, it will get easier, and you'll soon notice that bad people don't have as much power over your emotions. Lesson 5. Stop caring about what they think. One way poisonous people can control your emotions is by making you want their approval, whether you are aware of it or not. You may feel like you need their approval or are afraid of what they will think of you. But in Buddhism, it is taught that real peace and happiness come from inside, not from other people's approval. When you try to get praise from bad people, you let them control how you feel. The way you see yourself changes based on what they think. When someone says nice things about you, you feel good. When they say bad things, you feel bad. This loop holds you hostage and keeps them in charge. The key to breaking free is to detach from the need for their acceptance. Being detached doesn't mean not caring or being interested in anything. It's about understanding that your worth is not based on what other people think. People who are toxic often use disapproval and criticism to control other people. They know that if they don't like you, you'll feel uncomfortable and try to please them. But when you stop caring about what other people think, you gain back control over your own sense of self-worth. To start, tell yourself that what other people think doesn't make you who you are. It's not your job to live up to the standards of toxic people. Your value is fixed and doesn't change based on what other people think of you. Focusing on your breath during meditation can help you become more detached. You can think about the nature of your thoughts and feelings while you meditate and learn to watch them without getting attached to them. If you can separate yourself from your thinking, you will also be able to separate yourself from the opinions of toxic people. See that their acceptance or disapproval only shows what's going on with them and not how valuable you are. So, letting go of the need for acceptance is a freeing practice. It gives you back power over your feelings and stops harmful people from making you feel bad. When you practice detachment and look for acceptance within, you break out of the cycle of needing approval from others, and you start to feel real peace. Lesson 6. Create mental distance. Another strong way to protect yourself from toxic people is to mentally distance yourself from them. When you keep your mental space from a toxic person, even if you have to deal with them, their bad vibes don't seep into your mind. You put up a wall between their energy and your own peace of mind. Buddhist beliefs talk a lot about how important it is to keep your inner sanctuary, a place of peace and calm that can't be disturbed by outside forces. People who are harmful try to get into that safe place with their drama, negative, and attempts to control others. Creating emotional distance, on the other hand, keeps them on the outside and stops them from upsetting your peace. Visualization is the first step in creating mental space. Imagine a wall between you and a dangerous person when you are with them. This wall keeps you from taking in their bad energy. You can still hear what they say and see how they act, but it doesn't make you feel anything. You stay calm, rooted, and in the middle of yourself. Practicing detachment is another way to create mental space. When you're detached, you don't take the things that harmful people say or do personally. You understand that their pessimism comes from their own pain and suffering and not from you. Stop taking their actions personally. This will create a mental space that will keep you from being affected by their attempts to control you. Also, it's best to stay away from harmful people as much as possible. If you know that spending less time with someone drains your energy or makes you feel bad, you can physically separate yourself from them. It's not always possible to stay away from toxic people, especially if they are family or co-workers, but you can protect your mental space by limiting your contacts with them and setting limits. You can keep your inner peace and stop toxic people from controlling your feelings by picturing a barrier, practicing distance, and limiting your exposure to negativity. This mental space lets you talk to them without getting caught up in their drama. Lesson 7. Focus on growth, not retaliation. It's easy to get stuck in the trap of revenge when you're around bad people. You might want to fight with them to show them they're wrong or get back at them for how they've treated you. In Buddhism, on the other hand, we learn that the way to true peace and happiness is to focus on growth instead of getting even. Fighting back only makes things worse. It keeps you stuck in a cycle of fights and stops you from going on. When you get back at someone, you give them exactly what they want: drama and conflict. Instead, work on growing as a person and getting better emotionally. Buddhism says that you are the only person you can really control. Don't waste your time or energy trying to change or punish bad people. Instead, use that energy to get better and grow. You can get past the bad things in your life and become a better, smarter person when you focus on growth. One way to focus on growth is to think about what the bad person taught you. Their actions may be bad, but they can also teach us how to be patient, kind, and in control of ourselves. In order to turn a bad event into something good, you need to see it as a chance to grow. You can also focus on growth by meditating and being aware. You can develop traits like kindness, forgiveness, and inner strength through meditation. These traits will not only help you deal with bad people, but they will also make you healthier generally. Overall, the best way to get away from bad people is to focus on growth instead of getting even. You are in charge of your own happiness and peace when you choose to grow. You no longer need to fight or get even because you know that your growth is more important than any short-term pleasure that getting even might bring.